FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
NFL Championship Week, and your Washington Commanders are a part of it. Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit, that is K-Dot, and this episode is the NFC Championship Game preview. I can't even believe it. NFC Championship Game preview. Game is this Sunday at 3 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field, and it's against an NFC East opponent in the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be seen on Fox. So we're going to give you our preview, predictions, bet of the week, etc., and an all-22 review of that win, that historic win against the Detroit Lions. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Please, for the love of God, there's nothing clever today. There's no song. There's no Bible verse. Share this shit. My co-host here knows exactly what I've been through over the course of the last 24 hours for us to get this art to you, okay? There's a reason I'm wearing a hoodie. There's no fucking heat in my house. I've been puking all fucking night. All 22 has been a shit show. That's why I'm even scared to say share this shit, because shit has not been my friend over the last 12 hours, okay? Just share this show. Share this shit. Yeah, share this shit. Like I said, I feel like I got PTSD. Just share it!
I've never meant this more sincerely. Please, for K-Dot, share this shit. He needs it. And without further, he needs a win. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go into the all-22 review featuring that man himself, K-Dot.
It's the all-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
Once again, the Washington Commanders won on the road at Ford Field, 45-31 last Saturday night against the Detroit Lions. And with us now is K-Dot, who doesn't have 50 screens. He doesn't have 60 screens, and this week he doesn't have 70 screens. He had the one screen, and he did a great job. And he's here to deliver this all-22 review against Detroit. Once again, 45-31 winners. K-Dot, what did the film show you?
Yeah, one screen on the floor surrounded by puke, and I just tried to take a sip of water, and there's puke on the rim. Motherfucker! Damn it! I need a win, all right? Son of a bitch. Lions game. It was awesome, right? It was awesome. It was a great time, everybody. 45-31, the number one seed falls to us. Everybody's heard all the hype and everything over the course of last week. Everybody's feeling really, really high on what it is that happened, and you should. Everybody's got their bullshit about how many injuries Detroit had and how this, that. Yeah, it's true. It's true. They were very, very banged up. They were very, very hurt, and they were kind of stupid. Ben Johnson, as I've been saying for a very long time, I think it's kind of dumb. But we'll get to it. What it is that the coaching itself had to do and stuff like that. You know, I usually try to pick two or three things that we want to focus on. We always know there's always going to be somebody that always gets mentioned, regardless of how it is we do these all 22s, which is our savior, the Lord himself, Mr. JD5. All right. Touchdown Jesus, JD5, the cardiac kid, whatever it is you want to call him. According to his mom, maybe still a virgin. But regardless, like it's
Whatever it takes.
It's our guy. It's our guy. Jayden. I wrote this down, and I mean it when I say it. This wasn't just a Rookie of the Year performance that he had against Detroit. This is an MVP caliber performance he had against the Detroit Lions. I don't give a fuck about their injuries. Everybody's hurt. Maybe not on IR hurt, but everybody's hurt. And regardless, whatever Detroit was able to throw to him or throw at him, he took and he fucking went off. He went off. Look, we said in the previous show there was something he was going to have to look out for. We know that defense with Aaron Glenn loves the blitz. They fucking love the blitz. And we also knew Jayden's numbers were great against the blitz, and they checked out to the fullest extent. Jayden did everything as far as recognizing it and adapting to everything that Detroit threw to him as far as blitz. He identified everything. You could see he's identifying a bunch of the blitz packages pre-snap, sees exactly where it is that he knows certain the pressure is going to come from. And if he knows the pressure is coming from this way, that's going to be where I'm going to throw this football. Fantastic. Also pre-snap, if you knew a blitz was coming, you also see him communicate. There was a lot of communication. It's always my favorite thing to see them communicate. There were so many. You see the offensive line tapping each other. Hey, look out for that. Look out for that. Jayden calling the protection schemes and everything pre-snap. Hey, look out for that. Look out for that. I got this. I got this. Like a chess master. Like Black Peyton Manning out this motherfucker, right? He was calling everything out, diagnosed all. There was nothing Aaron Glenn could throw at him that he didn't know or didn't recognize. Maybe the 1 or 2 times that he didn't recognize and know something was happening. You know, I don't even know that. I don't even know if that's the case. Because the 1 or few times that you actually have somebody maybe come unblocked or like get the pressure into him, there almost seems to be Jayden so cool and calm and collected, just rolling out and running away from it. It almost seems as though before snap, he's like, all right, so I guess this guy's coming. I'm just going to have to outrun him. All right, cool. I don't need to do anything. Let's show these guys I can run sometimes, you know? I've never, to think that you can have a rookie that is this poised under pressure, it's insane to me. And I agree with Tom Brady on the broadcast. Aaron Glenn, if the blitz ain't working, because it just ain't working, you might want to go to something else. And I get it. This is what got you there. You're playing against a rookie quarterback. I'd even go as far as Aaron Glenn. Sometimes I criticize coaching in the sense of you get too clever for your own good, right? So I can understand the thought process. He's still a rookie. We still blitz. We're the number 1 seed for this reason. We're going to stick with it. We're going to do it. I give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit for staying true to who he was, but God damn it, was that just not working over the course of that game.
Right. Yeah. And Jayden Daniels has consistently throughout the season mentioned how hard he's worked, how hard the team has worked, and that preparation leads to the confidence and poise that we see. And Tom Brady even said so on his podcast. He said so after the game when interviewing Jayden Daniels. He is, Tom, that is, absolutely wowed by his work ethic. And that's what we're seeing over here. In the meanwhile, we got Ryan Poles saying Caleb Williams needs to learn to be a pro, but that's neither.
Whatever's going up there. Look, they already fucked up with the Ben Johnson thing, but whatever. I feel bad for Caleb. I feel so bad for Caleb. Look,
299 yards. What was it? 16 carries, 51 yards. He was awesome, K-Dog.
He was awesome. Like second quarter, it was a covered zero blitz. Jayden calmly just does the adjustment and delivers the strike to Zach Ertz. Perfect. It was almost like he turned a disaster into a 10-yard play. It was great. The 2 De'Ami Brown hits, the big plays, the De'Ami Brown. You can absolutely see there's some miscommunication happening with Detroit, but Jayden diagnoses it immediately. He sees exactly where the safety's pulling and rotating, and he's like, I got this. Whoa. No indecisiveness, know exactly what to do, looking off as far as on the safeties, pulling him where he needs to, and you could just see Detroit was a bit of a mess, and Jayden took advantage and exploited it. And that's something that matters. If your enemy's making a mistake, do not disrupt them, right? Take advantage of that shit. And then even on the the big bomb to Terry McLaurin, the McLaurin touchdown, the screen. It looks if you look at the play, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you're like, you stupid sons of bitch. But there's also Jayden sees it immediately. There's no hesitation. He knows exactly where he's going. There's more than one option on that play, but he knows exactly. It's basically RBO. He reads it. Terry, they got a 3-on-2. It's right. So, and then Terry McLaurin takes care of the rest. But it all starts with what Jayden's seeing, taking advantage of the Detroit mismatch, and then just taking care of it. There were so many times early in the season where you see that there were moments where I was like, God damn, Jayden, if you saw that, you could have done that, or if there was a play there. There was no meat left on the bone. I don't have that criticism for him this week.
Wow. So a near maximum performance, basically, in that case. That is,
like I said, MVP awesome caliber, not Rookie of the Year caliber, MVP caliber. There's a reason you're hearing the national media glaze Jayden this week. It's because if you know anything about goddamn football, you can be a Jayden Daniels detractor as much as you want to. You might still be in the Caleb Williams camp. You might still think Drake May is going to be a Pro Bowler. You might still love J.J. McCarthy. There is no getting around that what you just saw from this kid. If this is what it looks like in the rookie season, unless there is a disaster of unparalleled
VR stops working.
Like, what the fuck would it take if this is where this guy is trending, we have not just the franchise quarterback, we got the franchise here. This is what we got.
I mean, again, first conference championship appearance in 33 years, and it's his first year. And we revamped the roster. So the chemistry is still being built, and we're seeing the benefits of that now. K-Dot, were you planning to jump directly to the defense now, or did you have some
one more thing on offense? Because the offensive thing, the other thing that we saw make a resurgence in this game is something that we haven't even in the pregame, we knew there were certain things they might be able to take advantage of because we knew Detroit kind of struggles with pony formations, and that's something that we do a whole hell of a lot of. But goddamn, Kliff Kingsbury, the run game was back.
Thank goodness.
Thank God. Like, I think everybody's heard by now the story about Brian Robinson meeting with Dan Quinn before the game or the week before the game. They had their one-on-one. And you even see after B-Rob scores that touchdown, he goes over and he hugs Dan, and they had, like, stay true to who you are. No doubt. B-Rob, Eckler, they were running with reckless abandon. They ran harder than we've seen them run in a while. Eckler actually looks like Eckler, prime Eckler, Chargers, like, I'm your workhorse back, Eckler. I think he knows, look, yeah, I might have wanted you to have me a snap count throughout this season or throughout the games, or there's a reason I didn't want to be the workhorse, but I smell a Super Bowl. So do whatever you need to do. And that boy, he played his ass off. But more than all of that, it was what Kliff Kingsbury was doing when it came to the run attack. The RPOs worked to amazing effect throughout this game. A lot of it is, once again, Jayden diagnosing or seeing what it is that's happening. The RPO, Jayden has the choice of whether or not he's going to hand that football off or keep it or throw it or do whatever, right? So he's diagnosing and recognizing that there's all right, look, we got a light box, or he sees the safety kind of rolling out here, or I got a favorable matchup. Let me give the ball to our running backs, and they're going to be able to take care of it. So they did an amazing job as far as that stuff goes. The run blocking was superb in this game. Tyler Biadasz, all these guys were moving their asses around all over the field. You saw a lot of zone stuff for us. And even in the zone technique, you saw a lot of wipe scheme. And what a wipe scheme is the guard will pin the defensive tackle, which will allow the other offensive lineman to basically wipe around the guy to go to the second level and go up against the linebacker. On the Eckler 35-yarder, Biadasz pulled, neutralized Jack Campbell, massive hole. Eckler takes advantage of it. He still got the speed. If they can do that, that's the best I've seen that running attack in quite some time as far as what it is they've been able to do with moving these guys around. Every time the Detroit was when they were blitzing the light blocks, blitzing from a light box, right? They exploit it with sweeps, tackle pull runs, inside zone. It made it seem, we always talk about like we want to dictate to them, not have them dictate to us.
You're right.
The run game in this game was us telling, yeah, we got you, motherfucker.
Let me ask one last question. That's great to hear that we were able to create holes. We had B-Rob, we had Eckler, McNichols exploit these and be able to, that's how you get your tempo. That's how you get your time of possession. That is how you control the game. Mm-hmm. Trent Scott. Sam Cosmi now done for the year, and obviously we're hoping for the best in his recovery, but hopefully he's ready for the start of next year. That's looking unlikely right now. Yeah. But in the meanwhile, we still have a season to go. Trent Scott comes in for him. How did he look? I don't know if you were able to catch him specifically.
I was looking out for that because especially when looking towards what this Philadelphia game is doing. I would say that even if I saw Trent Scott do a pretty good job in this one, I would not say that's necessarily indicative of what's going to happen against Philly because of what the Philly defensive line looks like against Detroit's offensive line. I will say that immediately when I did my first, so I finished my All-22 review last night in the mess that I was in, but it wasn't the first time I looked at the All-22 tape. When I was looking at the All-22 earlier this week, I made an emphasis to look on Trent Scott, and what I would say is that my initial inkling was I wouldn't mind if they moved Wiley inside and put Lucas at the right tackle,
which has been discussed. Though it does sound like Trent Scott.
It does sound it's going to be Trent Scott. Going to be the guy. But I will say this: we've seen it cases over the course of this season. If they see something not working, they will pivot if need be. I don't think they'll leave Trent Scott out there if he's struggling against Jalen Carter or any of these guys. I think they'll have a game plan either way. But Trent Scott overall, it's not like I would say he had a bad game. He didn't. You can see the offensive line completely ate in this particular game. So if Trent Scott could play at the same level that he was playing in Detroit, maybe he got a shot. But once again, you're looking at the talent discrepancy between what it is the Detroit front looks like compared to what it is Philadelphia looks like.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe you even do something crazy, put Wiley at right guard, Trent Scott right tackle, declare him eligible. He catches another touchdown from Jayden. Who knows? I mean, it's just something to think about. Let's go ahead and talk about the defense now, K-Dot. What did you see there?
So defense, I mean, everybody knows the reason the defense worked the way it was they were opportunistic like a motherfucker. Look, going into the game, we said what the game plan was: stop the run at all costs. I think I screamed it multiple times in the microphone: stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. Mixed bag? No, I ain't gonna say that. That's a lie. It wasn't great.
Well, mixed bag in that if Montgomery was the one running, we did a pretty good job. If Gibbs was the one running, yeah.
There you go. Look, Montgomery, we could do some things. There were some things that we were seeing as far as on the defensive line, and especially Bobby Wagner. Wagner was able to move side to side. You know he's dealing with the ankle injury, so he's not as fast as he would typically be, but it was still enough lateral speed with that when Montgomery was running the football that he could get there, block a gap, and they stopped him. What was it? Montgomery stats where I think I wrote it down. Yeah, Montgomery was at 4 yards per carry, but that includes an 11-yard run. If you take away the 11-yard run, 2.8 yards per carry. Wagner could do a good job as far as that goes. Gibbs, on the other hand, was if you eliminate, this means just being as kind as possible. If you eliminate the 33-yard run from Gibbs, he still averages 5.5 yards a carry. I don't want to say what he actually averaged because I don't like hearing it, but that's what so 5.5 yards a carry is not great. Okay. It was just too much. Like Gibbs is just, he's special. he's just special. And it was just too much speed to go. This is where I go in that coaching thing that I was talking about. I love our coaching staff because our coaching staff, look, when's the last time you watched our football team and not absolutely said, God damn it, coaching fucked us?
Oh, I mean, that's a good question. How would you answer that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because it's weird because I was thinking about last year and I was like, well, that was all the time.
Eric behind me constantly. Everywhere.
Yeah, and this year I'm like, actually, it's been a while, Yeah.
The only time that there was ever any inkling this season about it was that maybe there was the aspect, and it didn't come from us, but there was the aspect of people saying whether or not Kliff Kingsbury's offense had stalled. But we all know it was due to the rib injury to Jayden Daniels. It had nothing to do with Kliff Kingsbury's offense. And if you listen to us do the All-22, we were emphatic that we did not believe that it was Kliff Kingsbury's offense was coming to a stall.
Correct.
So, hasn't been the case. Washington's coaching staff does not do shit to beat ourselves. If something's working, you keep doing it. It's what makes the great coaches great. And you can be a good coach, but you can't get to great unless you understand that process. That's what makes guys like Bill Belichick goats, right? Bill Belichick, you remember that game where he ran the ball against Buffalo with like 60 times?
Mac Jones had 3 pass attempts. I remember I started the Buffalo defense that day, and they got nothing because Mac Jones wouldn't throw the ball.
That's the type of shit. Bill Belichick, the reason he's a defensive genius, we all heard that Bill Belichick made a point to tell the offense, you got to do this, just do it. Defensively, what made Bill Belichick always great was that he would say, we know you like to do this thing. I'm going to do everything I can do to stop you from doing this thing. And even if you have success doing the other thing, you think I'm going to try to stop you doing the other thing? No, because I know you're only doing that thing to get back to the thing you want to do. So I'm not going to let you do it. Ben Johnson, to show that he's clever, okay? It was working.
Oh, we know.
They just ran Gibbs constantly. It was working.
It was the question I asked you last episode. I was like, hey, if they just ran it every play with Gibbs, do we win?
Probably not. Look, the reason they fucked it up was that, look, I'm not going to deny, if we're looking at defense and to give ourselves kudos, number one, I give ourselves kudos as far as, look, like I said, if your enemy's fucking up or making a mistake, take advantage where you need to take advantage of. And we did in the sense of those turnovers were not Goff just being Goff and shitting bed. Those turnovers were mainly because of what Washington was doing defensively to take advantage. And we said that in the pre-show. We said that there are going to be some opportunities if you're able to do certain things against Goff, muddling some looks, showing that you're coming with the blitz, but you're not necessarily coming with the blitz, able to get pressure with the front four without having the blitz. Those sorts of things get Goff into some very, very bad territory where he's going to fucking turn the ball over if you give him the opportunity. And he did it, and they were there to take advantage of it. Look, you go into this game. Who's our leading defensive back as far as interception? I think I don't know who it was, but I think they've only had 2.
Oh,
going in this game.
I think it was Mikey.
It might have been Mike, right?
Yeah.
2 going into the game.
Yeah.
We come away with 5 fucking takeaways. Like the reason we do that is the guys made the plays when they need to make them. That is what you want to see. There are tons of times this season where you see an interception get fumbled or an interception just get dropped or the guy's right there in position, but he falls down or anything else. They came to play and take advantage. You have to give them credit for making the plays when they need to make the plays. And the Jameson Williams thing, you don't even have to. Jameson Williams, you fucking idiot. You're an idiot for doing what you did. But the bigger idiot, Ben Johnson, why would you ever put the ball in that guy's hands to make that sort of call or that sort of play? Especially when you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place if you just ran the ball with Gibbs.
Yeah, Jameson Williams had humped the end zone an hour ago.
Oh my God, I hate it.
And Ben Johnson looked him in the eye and said, "Yep, I want you throwing this ball in the fourth quarter, down 10, when the game's still in the balance." I'm so thankful he did, just to be clear. That was also the play where I cramped on both sides of my abs because I jumped up and was just celebrating too much. So thank you. But wow, that's horrible coaching. You talked about when was the last time coaching screwed us? That's a moment where coaching screwed them.
Bingo. Look, the defense didn't need to shut down Detroit. We knew that they weren't going to shut down Detroit.
Correct.
But we also knew that if they were given the opportunity to get some takeaways, that could be the difference in this game. If you ask me whether or not if they just ran with Gibbs, would we have won this game? Probably not if they were crazy with it, right? If they were Bill Belichick Patriots level with it, fuck you, we're just doing this. But I will say, if we still did what we did defensively, and Jared Goff had half the throws that he had, I still think we get a turnover or 2. And if that's still the case, Lord knows what happens, even if they have Gibbs do everything that he did.
Any final thoughts here before we move on to what everyone's here for, that preview against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Nope, I'm done.
All right, cool. And that was the All-22 review featuring our very own K-Dot. Once again, the NFC Championship game takes place this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be on Fox with Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call, and they called our last game as well. So to set the context for this NFC East showdown, series is tied 1-1 on the year. Who's going to get that second win? We begin with the injury report, as we always do here at District Divided. So you can see, of course, Sam Cosmi did not practice, will not practice, honestly, for 9 months. It's going to be a while. And so once again, we wish him a speedy recovery from the torn ACL. Deron Payne not practicing, Bobby Wagner not practicing. Look, at this point of the season, I know we're unfamiliar with the territory, but does not mean they're not playing. In fact, it means they're resting and they're just going to be all systems go on Sunday. So expect those two to play fully without limitations in terms of snap count. And we'll just see how they handle the pain. That's where we're at in the season. Now we go over to the Philadelphia Eagles, and same thing. Dallas Goedert not practicing. Cam Jurgens not practicing, but they're going to play. They're going to play. And you will also note that Jalen Hurts, a full participant, Quinyon Mitchell, a full participant. So I don't want to hear shit if we end up beating these guys about them being hurt, especially with Wednesday being a walkthrough practice, which was a choice that these guys made. And so that is the injury report on both sides of the ball and the notable names on them. Whew, here we go. On to Jayden Daniels, Kliff Kingsbury, and this Commanders offense that has been so fun to watch this year against the number one defense in the Philadelphia Eagles, round 3. Once again, in the first round, we end up losing that game. We are containing Saquon Barkley for a while, but then he finally breaks loose. We're going to talk about that with the Eagles offense. Jayden has the ribs. We even put out the tweet and we said Kaylee Hartung had reported in the first quarter it hurts for him to throw. Next game, Jalen Hurts is the one that gets hurt and is out of the game. Kenny Pickett comes in. They put up 33 points, but Jayden has that game. 5 touchdowns, overcoming 5 team turnovers in a 36-33 win. So here we go. K-Dot over here. Our offense against their defense. Sam Cosmi out. Trent Scott in, at least to start, and we'll see how it goes. How are you attacking this Philadelphia Eagles defense?
I guess it depends. It kind of depends on what it is that Philadelphia is going to do defensively. So, like, when we talk about like the coaching thing, which is something I'm always going to come back to, because remember, my grand thesis on these Philadelphia Eagles has always been they're a collection of the most talented people on the planet or in the NFL as far as the unit goes, but they're not a great team, and I don't trust the coaching because I think that overall their coaching is a little they're dumb. I think Kellen Moore's an idiot, and I think Nick Sirianni's a bit of a douchebag. But if there's anybody on the coaching staff that I actually do think does a pretty good fucking job, is Vic Fangio and that fucking defense.
Agreed.
So this is a guy who's he's a motherfucker that he learns, and he and the one thing that you could say is that like their plan of attack on what it is they did against Jayden from week 11 to week 16, very different. So like there was one that was definitely having more success than the other, but what does that mean when it comes to this? Maybe it leans one way or the other. And what did I say as far as that difference goes? All right. Did you see it? I just saw this thing pop up on the screen. I don't know.
I saw that for a moment. Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that was. All right. In week 11, the Eagles blitzed Jayden 5 times. We didn't have a great game offensively. We just didn't. Like, there's a certain element of like, hey, they can get pressure with their front four. No need to really blitz. They don't even get, and the thing is, they don't get sacks or anything with it. There's like a pressure, and they do what they need to do from a coverage standpoint. It muddles things. Jayden might hold on the ball too long, either ducks a ball or runs out of bounds or does one of those like no gain sack sort of non-sack things or whatever, right? So it's just, it muddles it. Jayden gets a little indecisive. It's like whatever. In week 16, Philly brought their second highest blitz rate of the season at 35.6%, and Jayden torched the fuck out of those boys, right? So if you're Vic Fangio, what do you think you're going to do? Are you going to blitz them, which is what everybody thinks they should do against Jayden Daniels, be it Aaron Glenn last week or all these other coordinators that have come?
Todd
Or do you want to, right? Or do you want to sit your guys back? The difference for most of those teams that don't have a front four, number one, healthy enough to get there and get pressure with the front four and being able to stop everybody out of coverage. So that's going to be something that I think they'll do. So if they do that, we'll still say they're an NFL team, so they're going to blitz. It's going to happen. Number one, Jayden, in those limited opportunities that I think they do that, torch the fuck out of these boys, okay? This, to me, is going to be one of those games where, and we'll get to what it is as far as Philadelphia offensively, but I still got to say, the best defensive player that the Washington Commanders have is who? Jayden Daniels.
That's correct.
Right? So one thing is that if we get out to a lead on these motherfuckers, which means if they start bringing any sort of pressure, if you start seeing man-man coverage on Terry McLaurin and there's an opportunity, take the shots. Take the shots when you can have the shots. You got to take them. You got to take them whenever they get them. Because if you can get a score out on these boys, they're a very different team if they're coming out from behind. Very different team if they're coming from behind. As a matter of fact, I think I heard this. Since we played them in week 16, the Philadelphia Eagles have only trailed for 5 minutes in football.
Wow.
You know what they want to do. So offensively, if we can jump out, take advantage, hit the big shots, we can hit the big shots. It just puts them in a situation where it's going to give an advantage.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Jayden Daniels, what I saw in that Detroit Lions game as far as him being able to diagnose blitzes, there were also situations where Aaron Glenn didn't necessarily blitz, and he was doing the thing that Jayden kind of struggles with, which is, all right, simulate pressure, where you drop some guys back. I will say Jayden, it was limited in this game, but Jayden did a much better job in this one as far as still diagnosis and taking shots where you need to. Those were some of those times where you absolutely saw those moments in this game. Unlike a lot of moments this season where there was a very clean pocket for Jayden, like you saw those few times in the Detroit game, it was very, very clean, and Jayden's just looking through diagnosis and taking the hits where he needs to. There's going to be some opportunities like that. I will just say, this defense, this Philadelphia Eagles secondary, a little more sticky than anything that the Lions are going to do. When they play man, they can shut some shit down. So it's just going to have to be absolute precision, and our wide receivers, like you got to step it up as best you possibly can and get some sort of separation on this motherfucker just to give you an opportunity. But the other part that I would say outside of like the Jayden Daniels thing is what we saw with the rushing attack last week in Detroit.
There we go.
You'd love to see that come back in some sort of capacity. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to have the same success rate that we had against Detroit, but there has to be Eckler and Robinson. I'm looking at you two guys squarely. You have to make Philadelphia respect the run. You have to make them respect it. If they realize we don't give a shit, you guys just ain't going to be able to do this on us, we're dropped back in coverage, and we're just going to make Jayden beat us through the air, it gets a little muddy for your rookie. But if they have to stack that box just a bit more, if they have to do some things that give you some opportunities to take advantage of that passing game, B-Rob, Eckler, McNichols, JD himself on the ground, Kliff, Kingsbury, this is up to you. You got to devise a plan to keep them honest and having them still have to worry about the run. Hopefully it's a focal point we get some success in it too.
K-Dot, how long have I wanted Jayden Daniels to be our quarterback?
I think squarely probably from like February.
Late December, when we first started doing this whole thing.
That's fair.
Think the world of this kid.
Yes, you do.
I think he's unbelievable. And I believe everyone's on the same page now. Kid's unbelievable. We cannot have him drop back as much, as much as I'd like to. And this is on Kliff Kingsbury, something that you pointed out just now and also in the All-22 review. We talked about the run game. NFC East showdown, I respect the history of the division, and I respect the history of this matchup. You win the trenches, you win the game. Mm-hmm. And we need to be able to run on Philadelphia first and foremost, because that is how you can help control time of possession. And most importantly, my eyes are on Trent Scott, and theirs are too. So I'm going to quickly read through a couple stats for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. So far this postseason, they're averaging 3 turnovers a game on defense that they're generating. We've got, I want to say, 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries so far. So 2 forced fumbles on average and 1.5 picks per game, 3.5 sacks per game. All right. So there's that. Jalen Carter in the regular season, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That's the regular season. Playoffs, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He's 50% of the way there in 2 games. All right. Nolan Smith, his Georgia teammate. Regular season, 6.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Playoffs, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He's met his forced fumbles from the regular season, and he's halfway there from his regular season total. These boys are turning up. So you talk about a wipe scheme and having the guard help on a D tackle. That's a great way to, I don't want to use the term hide, but protect Trent Scott, right? Help him hit Jalen Carter, create a run lane. And now when you do choose to drop back, Jayden, this is important because he's going to have moments where he needs to sit back and he probably won't have enough time. I don't anticipate the Eagles blitz that much. I think we're looking at that 5 total, right? Because now he needs to read a secondary, best secondary in the NFL of 7. What do I have available to me? And Vic Fangio coaches these boys up. So if you don't see it, I don't hate it if you choose to bail quickly and take 3-4 yards on the ground, just 3 or 4. It makes a big difference because now if you're getting into that 3rd and short, 4th and short, you, me, this entire fan base believes we can convert those. And that is how you protect your defense. That is how you sustain drives. That's how you score. And to K-Dot's point, when they do, it's that ability to recognize, which he has done an awesome job of throughout the year and gotten better and better and better. Take the shot. Feed Terry. Feed Diami at this point. Olamide Zaccheaus. Zach Ertz, who wants this game against Nick Sirianni, who was talking shit after we beat them, who this Eagles organization trades him for basically nothing. And now he's back in this spot. This means a lot to the squad. It starts with the run game for me, K-Dot. That's my breakdown of this.
I don't disagree with you. The only thing I would say is that there has to be a diversification on what we do in order to keep these guys honest with everything, right? I do think that means Jayden attacking on the outside numbers. I do think that means a lot because you need to get these defensive backs to think, all right, we're going to be pushing the ball downfield, so we got to be worried about that aspect of it, right? So there's that component. You got to keep them honest when it comes to the run game in order to open up some things in the pass. Also, the same thing, you've heard me have this criticism as far as Washington's defensive line at certain points this season, which is that they're an aggressive front 4, right? So they get penetration a lot and they can move downfield, which can allow for certain lanes and certain gaps to get through if you're able to get past their initial rush, right? Philadelphia is an extremely aggressive front too. So like you have those situations where what you're going to see is Jalen Carter flash by an offensive lineman. Now, what you can't have happen is oh shit, he just hit B-Rob for a 4-yard loss.
Right.
What you want to see well, your misdirection or whatever. Jalen Carter's 4 yards in the backfield, but Brian Robinson's somewhere else, Eckler's somewhere else, and now we've got some opportunities to run or to get some positive yards. Positive yards is the key to this game. You cannot, if we're in these situations where it's 2nd and 12, you're fucked. You're fucked. If you're in these 3rd and longs constantly, you're fucked. This is going to be one of those games where, if I'm being completely honest, I know on 4th down, we like to do it. We like to be aggressive. If it's not 4th and short, trust way, you're getting your fucking workouts, because this is going to be one of those give and take, back and forth sort of things. If we are able to move it with we're able to move it with some gusto and get on a roll, totally understand going forward on 4th down. But this is the sort of defense where you're really setting up everything for the potential opportunity to hit the big play or to get this opportunity here and there. This is going to be a chess match of all chess matches that you've seen this season. It's just who's going to blink first between us and Vic Fangio. Where are they going to start focusing or keying in on that gives us the opportunity to take advantage of somewhere else? This is Kliff Kingsbury versus Vic Fangio and the execution of these players. It's going to be a hell of a thing to see.
Mm-hmm. And no turnovers would go a long way. Jayden has turned the ball over against this Eagles defense in both outings so far. So him not turning it over goes a long way. Brian Robinson holding onto the ball after calling out Philadelphia. Jalen Carter punched it out. The 2 fumbles that day, that goes a long way. Ball protection, and if we end up needing to punt on a 4th and 6, not the worst thing in the world in this game, because we'll get to it on the other side of the ball in just a moment. Kid, looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, I just I try to do this, and I didn't really follow the script that I kind of wrote. I never do, but I thought I did it pretty clear. There are 3 things that I said Washington needs to do to win this game. Protect Jayden Daniels. Philly struggles to generate pressure without blitzing, so the offensive line must hold up straight dropbacks
To force them to blitz. Yep.
Hit explosive plays. The Eagles cover 3. Looks are vulnerable to deep shots, and if Daniels can manipulate the safeties with his eyes, you can take advantage. And red zone efficiency. Touchdowns, not field goals. You have to finish. It is not negotiable. You got to finish these drives.
Got to. I fully anticipate we see an aggressive Dan Quinn, as we always have, even more so. Wouldn't be surprised if before the game he goes, by the way, anytime we're in the red zone, anytime, and it's 4th down, we're going. It's that simple. We're too close. We have to finish. Plain and simple.
Close to it, but you got to get close. You got to
get close. Gotta get close.
You're 2nd and 15, 2nd and 14. Be hard to get close.
Okay, let's flip the script. Let's go over to our Commanders defense that once again generated 5 turnovers last week against the Detroit Lions, their number 1 offense. Against this quite explosive Philadelphia offense in terms of talent. And it does depend on the day. If Jalen Hurts gets going too, man, I mean, welcome to the light show. If he doesn't, some room over here. So K-Dot, looking at this Philadelphia Eagles offense and our Commanders defense that seems to be gelling at the right time, thankfully, what do you see us doing in order to slow them down? Maybe even stop them entirely?
I think that's an impossibility.
I know. That one, I just wanted to see if you're like, ooh, yeah, no, that one's probably not happening.
We're not doing that. You can try to do everything you possibly can do to get to that point, or to get them to I have an entire notes that was dedicated to one thing, and I wrote in big bold letters at the top of my note, the Saquon problem. Like the stats and everything I started looking at was like, God damn. Now I will say, I'm being a little overzealous. Now, here, I didn't show you the keys offensively. I'll do this real quick just to make you feel a little bit better. So you see this? Yeah, we talked about the offense. You see some stars going Washington's way. Great. This is what it looks like on the other side. You see rushing, runs, rushing. Oh, some short passing. Saquon's going to try to beat us. Now, look, you can look at whatever you want to look at as far as the other matchups that we've had against Saquon. If you do look at the previous matchups we had Saquon, it should give you a little bit of hope. It honestly should give you a little bit of hope that we should be able to do this. If you just look at what he's been doing in the playoffs recently.
And I can give you both sets of stats real quick, K-Dot. In the playoffs, 25 carries, 119 yards. against the Green Bay Packers. But then against the Los Angeles Rams, he was like, I am that dude. 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gotta suck for the Rams, by the way. You go against this guy, and both times he goes over 200 on you on the ground. I mean, so it just goes to show that him seeing a team multiple times doesn't necessarily mean slow him down. Now, to what K-Dot was saying, in that last game, first quarter, 7 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. After that, second through fourth quarter, 22 carries, 41 yards. Now that's with Kenny Pickett in instead of Jalen Hurts, so maybe we could play it differently. But then you wonder, is Jalen Hurts mobile? That plays a role into this as well. Or did we just figure something out? So back to you, K-Dot.
Yeah, so let's keep it Saquon and then the other reasons in which you could potentially look at Saquon. So like the Jalen Hurts of it all and the rest of the team. And also look what we talk about offensively as far as being able to stop his opportunities. So if you look at Saquon against us, he's averaged 5.4 yards a carry overall in the 2 games against us. Now, of the 296 rushing yards he had against us, 130 of those yards came on 3 explosive runs, a 23, 39, and a 68-yarder. So what happened on those? If you look at every one of the explosive runs that Saquon had against us, it was an absolute fuck up by us when it came to either a stunt that wasn't executed properly, somebody not in the proper situation, and he was able to break it. If you eliminate those, is Saquon still doing a pretty good job? Yeah, you're not going to stop this motherfucker. But if you were able to prevent these long, because everybody even knows it, the fucking run that he had in the snow against LA, Jesus Christ. You look at that shit, you're just like, how do you fucking stop that? You got to do everything you can if you play discipline on defense. Do not fuck this up. You have to play as disciplined as you have ever played this season if you're stopping this run. If you run the stunts, you motherfuckers better be in the right situations, in the right spots. Nobody's over pursuing when they need to over pursue. You have to do it, and you have to execute. You got to communicate properly. Because if we can do that, Saquon, as you showed in the second half of those games, he can be bottled up for certain portions of this game. He absolutely can. And this takes away, fuck the Jalen Hurts of it all. I'm just talking about Saquon. You can bottle him up if you play what you need to do soundly as far as defense. You're not going to stop him from getting a 10-yard gain sometimes. You're not going to stop him from getting a 15-yard gain sometimes. But you can prevent a 60-yarder, an 80-yarder, a 99-yarder, which he's fucking capable of doing. You have to stop those. You cannot let him do that.
And mind you, like, he is an MVP candidate for a reason. So when Kato and I are speaking, we're like, limit him.
Yes.
That could end up being 120 yards, just to be clear.
Yes.
But what you're doing is limiting him because they're going to give him the ball 25 plus times. We know that. They've done that both times this postseason. They seem to, no matter what we think of Kellen Moore, seem to know, hey, if we just hand this guy the ball, it gives us the best chance. It's also got to be said, these guys have punted 9 times so far, 5 and 4 respectively this postseason. So it's not to say that you're not going to get some empty possessions from them. So it's important to note, and that's where we go back to offense very quickly. Stay patient. Those, if you don't turn the ball over and you get into a little bit of a punt fest, not the worst thing in the world. It's who blinks first, who makes that mistake could end up deciding this game. So if they're punting to us, celebrate it for sure, but also recognize, hey, it's who blinks first over here. So we're doing what we can to stop Saquon. If we do enter those situations, because we even did this in the first game, K-Dot, where quarters 1 through 3, we were awesome. And then the fourth quarter, he explodes. If we do get into those situations, well, now we got Jalen Hurts potentially throwing the ball. What do you make of that?
I still want to talk about Saquon more, honestly.
I mean, we could go forever. It could be its own episode.
I was just, I will say, on the Saquon part, Frankie Louvu, Dante Fowler, Johnny Newton, Quan Martin, Jordan McGee. All of you had fuck-ups at some point against Saquon that allowed him to gash us for a run. All of you done it. In that same sort of sentence, I could also tell you, Wagner, Louvu, Newton, Fowler. You've also had long stretches of time in these games where you've absolutely bottled them up. There are 52 carries for 3.2 yards a carry. That's the long form if you can ever stop these fucking runs on him. Just throwing it out there. Now, the Jalen Hurts of it all. What you were able to see as far as in the you saw the videos. I'm sure everybody saw the video of him at practice, kind of limping around and being a little sore, like he doesn't look like he's 100%. Everybody saw him get rolled up in the Rams game. I don't buy it. Do you buy it?
No, he's fine.
He's fine. And I think everybody else, if you're a fan of this show, if you're a Commanders fan or you watch what's going on with the Eagles, everybody's seen his post-game presser or his post-game when he's on the field. He's high as fuck. That boy is high as a cat.
Multiple times. Yeah.
That boy going to be off some perks in this one. I can tell you that. He ain't going to feel shit. Luvu. I know. If I say Luvu's name, I know you guys get fucked.
You trigger someone here.
Right. Yeah. Motherfucker. Look. You got to contain Jalen Hurts to the pocket above all else. Maybe the injury is a thing, and he can't be as mobile as you want to, but I ain't dwelling on that. You got to contain him to the fucking pocket. You are begging Jalen Hurts in this game. Bring it, bitch. Bring it. Because if you look at what, I think somebody was saying, I didn't write, goddamn, I should have write this down. Once again, it was a very, very weird last 24 hours. But what is it like? Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown like over 150, 156 yards in any of these playoff games? Like ever?
Yeah, that's correct. Ever. I don't know. Well, I mean, he had the Super Bowl against Kansas City, but like,
fuck that.
Oh yeah, throw out the ones where he did, then he didn't.
You goddamn right.
But so far, I can quickly read his stats: 13-21, 131 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers, and then 15-20, 128 yards, and no touchdowns, no picks against the LA Rams.
Look, you got to do everything you can to keep him in the fucking pocket and have him deliver the football, which means on our end, Marshon Lattimore, the game you had last week, like a repeat, sir. Now, once again, I don't think Detroit went after you the way that I think the way that every other team that you've played so far this season really attacked you. I don't know what Philadelphia is going to think in this particular one. I was looking as far as Marshon in this Detroit game, and I will say he was definitely stickier than he has been at other times this season. I will 100% give him that. He did not give them a lot of clean looks. If you were able to do the exact same thing against A.J. Brown, you have a shot. The only thing with AJ is that he's definitely more physical than anybody that Detroit has as far as from a wide receiver standpoint. So the same method that you necessarily have against those guys, you can't. But we also know historically Marshon Lattimore is pretty good when it comes to physical receivers because he's done a good job against Mike Evans. Whatever you make of that, secondary's got to come to play. Mike Sanders still, all these guys, if you're going to keep him in the pocket and force him to fucking throw, take advantage when he doesn't throw a good ball because there will be some balls that are just not good. Yeah. Turnovers will win you this fucking game immediately.
Thank you.
But if you allow Jalen Hurts to start running around a little bit, let's say those perks have worked and he can't feel shit, so he's running around. That's where he beats you. Like everybody saw, even the run he had against the Rams. That I think it was the longest run he's ever had in his career.
Yeah, 44. Yeah.
He could do that against us. Like he will absolutely do that.
I'd like to see it, just to be clear. I would be willing to give up 30 yards to get information on how well he's looking, honestly. So if he holds one and he goes for 30, okay, cool. Now we know you can. I'd be curious about that.
Huh. All right, sorry. Somebody said something about the line moving for the game or something. I don't know if that.
It's 6.5 now. We'll get to that.
Okay, I might want to check that. I mean, the way they made it sound is like something just happened as we're live on the fucking show. But maybe they're bullshit.
Well,
I don't know.
Refresh. I'll refresh now. Still 6.5 on my end. But
still 6.5. Okay, cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw it. It kind of panicked me a little bit. I couldn't check it or whatever. All right. So what do you do as far as Hurts? We did have, even in the limited time that we saw him at certain points, simulated pass rushes or simulated blitzes are something that he struggles with too. So the same way we say as far as Jayden Daniels at certain points of the season, when you look like you're going to come bring pressure and you don't, it muddles things for him. The Rams, you could see, did an amazing job in this last game getting to his ass. And the reason they got to his ass was, number one, you got guys like Jared Verse that were able to just get there, right? And trust me, if you look at our pass rush, we're able to get there too with our front four without having a blitz. If you can do that at times and still keep enough guys in coverage, you got some opportunities against Jalen because he's indecisive as fuck and he likes to hold on the ball as long as he can. His best stuff is when he's able to extend plays, run around a little bit, extend something, pull up in the pocket, do all this kind of shit. Just don't give him enough time. Don't give him enough time. Like, make him rush his decisions, okay? But what you do, if you simulate the pressure, show that you're bringing a blitz, he gets confused, muddles the look as far as where he needs to throw the ball, and you can still get pressure with your front four.
So this is where we haven't talked about A.J. Brown yet, but he is my X factor in this game. I think he's going to have he's going to have an explosive game. And by that, it could go either way. So far, he's got 2 catches for 24 yards this postseason. 1 catch for 10 yards, 1 catch for 14 yards. And he's had multiple drops. And he's reading books on the sideline. This man has the capability to take the game over. And that's why Marshon Lattimore, strap up, bud. This time, you're not even on the injury report. It's on you. You can frustrate this guy because the other side of it is this turns into a Mike Evans, Marshon Lattimore thing, and this guy explodes. Borderline gets thrown out of the game if things aren't going right. Because now this would be game number 3 where things aren't going right. If we get some early success on offense, and now all of a sudden run game is not really working, or it is, but he's not getting his targets, and he drops one, or Marshon gets in his face, look out, because that Philly crowd is also going to start turning on these guys too. So that's why he's my X factor. It's not just the talent he is, it's the personality he is. And that's the double-edged sword I'm looking at over here. If you can win that battle early, I'm so curious to see if they think the world has a Saquon Barkley handoff as the first play and they decide, no, let's get AJ the ball. I mean, they could try and outthink. We talk about coaching. Vic Fangio, we trust. We think he's great. Kellen Moore, I don't know. Like, he might try it. He might. And it may not go well. Could be a turnover early. So that is my X factor here, K-Dot. AJ Brown goes both ways. He could be awesome. Curtains. Congrats, Eagles. He could also be a huge detriment to them in this game, in this spot.
The way you put that together was perfection. Because when you first said X factor, I'm like, oh, he thinks this guy's going to be player of the game. I got all these reasons to say he's not going to be player of the game. But what you're saying is perfect. Because, like, look, if we're able, I love your philosophy as far as the AJ Brown piece of it, because I really do think that that's like the crucial mark. But I'm going to say, in that same token, Jalen Hurts is sort of the X factor to me. And the reason I say, or Nick Sirianni, whatever, the whole fucking sideline, honestly. Remember the overall thesis. We're a team. They're not. Okay? Philadelphia, as much as they're talented as all get out, as much as Saquon Barkley is pound for pound, maybe the best player in the NFL, at least this season, they like doing what they like to do. They want to run the ball with Saquon. They want to limit what it is that Jalen Hurts is doing as far as throwing the football, because I don't think they trust Jalen Hurts as far as throwing the football. And they play defense knowing that they have a lead. If you fuck with that, who are they? Is this a team that you think can change shit on the fly? Can they communicate properly when you got your wide receiver reading the book on the sideline? Can you see that shit going down that way? If Jalen Hurts is throwing shit and it's not looking good, or he's not getting the ball to where he needs to be as far as it, what is AJ Brown's reaction to that? Is he like, that's all good? Or does he check out? Is he yelling at him on the sidelines? Like, that's what we want to see. We want to see our sideline being a team and their sideline looking a little funky, okay? Yep. 100% with you on that. There are certain things you can do to absolutely do that. Now, if I'm saying the one guy for me to look out for more than anything else, because they'll say that Mikey Sanderson takes care of his responsibility. Let's say Marshon Lattimore is finally healthy, and what we saw in Detroit is just a continuation. He's able to take care of A.J. Brown a whole hell of a lot better than he did last time, okay?
Right.
All those things are true. If all those things there is one guy I'm worried about as far as what it is that Jalen Hurts can actually deliver the football to, and he can hurt us, and that's Dallas Goedert.
Right.
How did you go about that? I'm looking at you, Jeremy Chin, probably above anybody else, because Wagner and Luvu, I need you guys playing behind the defensive line as best as possible. And what I need you guys to do is make sure you're crashing on the outside to force everything inside. I don't need Saquon or Jalen Hurts breaking containment on the outside and start gashing us for that shit. I don't like the idea of Saquon Barkley in open space against Mike Sanderson. I don't like the idea of Jalen Hurts one-on-one in open space against Mike Sanderson. Force shit inside as best as you possibly can. Now, Dallas Goedert is going to have some opportunities. Our linebackers are really, really good in all but one thing mostly, and that's coverage. Yeah. Now, that has not hurt us tremendously because, in all honesty, I mean, yeah, Sam Laporta did actually have some pretty good football.
Nice catch.
He had a nice catch. If we can walk away from this game being the Dallas Goedert is really the only focal point, like if that's what we get to say at the end of the game, I like our chances. But he is somebody you need to look out for. You really need to look out for him. Yeah, what does Washington need to do to win? I do the same thing I did on offense. Force turnovers. Dominate the edges. Luvu, Fowler, Wagner, looking at you. Play tight in coverage. Limit the yak. Do not let Goddard or Smith. God damn it, don't let Smith beat you. Those fucking crossing routes can be a monster for us at times, man. Look, I love Noah Igbenogany. I think you're good. Your PFF grade stands out. But there are definitely some things that we can definitely do better on when it comes to some of these crossing routes with some of these speedsters. Just saying. Look out for it.
All right. Any final thoughts here, K-Dot, before we move on to our prediction?
Nah, I think I'm good.
And with that, let's go ahead. Jump over to our predictions, where you can see your Washington Commanders 14-5, your boy K-Dot 14-5 as well. I am sitting at 12-7 with the worst record because the Philadelphia Eagles are 16-3 this week. Okay. So that's what we're dealing with over here. So K-Dot, over to you. As always, before that, it's a 6.5-point spread still. Okay, so I'm refreshing that. Over-under is 47.5 for this game. Eagles are favored, of course, at home. So from you, I need a score. I need a winner. And I need a player of the game.
You know, I'm gonna take too long to do this, but this is who I am. If somebody were to tell me after this game that I'm looking at a box score and I'm in tears because Philadelphia's won 35-14, and I gotta, not that we lost. I wouldn't be that sad that we lost because I'm looking at everything that we've accomplished over the course of the season. But the idea of those fucking assholes being in the Super Bowl, I don't like that. I really don't like that, right? I want to play these motherfuckers. We've always wanted to play with these motherfuckers. Even when Nathan's on the pod, who do we want? I wanted Philly. So if Saquon gets to eating, we don't stop him. We're not doing what we need to do offensively. Jayden's looking a little muddled or whatever. Yeah, absolutely be a blowout. But that's not what I see happening. The first half, both teams come out a little cautiously. Trading scores a little back and forth. Washington leads on the RPOs. And outside runs that softens the Eagles front while Philly tries to establish Saquon early. In the second half, the Commanders' defense tightens up, forcing a turnover in the third quarter. Daniels hit McLaurin for a deep shot, putting Washington ahead. In the final quarter, the Eagles try to mount a comeback. But a key fourth quarter scramble by Daniels keeps the drive alive, allowing Washington to run out the clock. Final score, Washington 31, Philadelphia 27. We're Super Bowl bound! Run the table!
31-27, Washington is the prediction over there for K-Dot. So as I was going through this game, man, so I was thinking about it. So Philadelphia, fabulous job with winning the turnover battle, which is something we've been doing, right? Like we've done it our 2 games, they've done it their 2 games. And their defense, hats off to Vic Fangio, I think is magnificent. And I do think that it's going to be, by the way, K-Dot, if we get to 31 points, I think that's a magic number. I think we win if we get to 31. And like, you don't even need to worry about the defense. I think they'll do enough. I don't see us getting to 31. That would be sick. I love your story. I love that. On their side of the ball, again, AJ Brown, does he explode? Like all of a sudden, do they have issues, stuff like that? I'm so curious to see that. Man, Saquon Barkley, something else, dude. He is something else. It's a bummer that those guys didn't get to see history when, they should have gone for history, I think. I know we talked about that a little bit. They should have gone for history because Saquon Barkley is that dude. But they'll get to see history this Sunday when Jayden Daniels becomes the first rookie quarterback to go to the Super Bowl. 27-23 Washington. This team is special. This team is locked in at the right time. This team is playing complementary football at the right time. And when we started in week 1 and we said that you need to build chemistry.
Yep.
And we see it built.
Mm-hmm.
If I think about the games Jayden's lost, 3 of them were with the rib injury. So really, I'm looking at 2. And if you want to throw the Dallas one in there, fine, 3. We're looking at 3 losses as well with this kid. He's calm. He's cool. He's composed. He's poised. I don't think we turn it over. If we do, it's maximum 1, but we match that 1. I anticipate us winning the turnover battle. It's a tight one. And something to look out for, Jake Elliott. He's 6 for 6 on field goals. He's 2 of 5 on extra points. He's missed extra points in both games. So they're 23. He makes his field goals. It's a missed extra point. And our 27, we're not kicking field goals. We miss an extra point. But it's 27-23 Washington. And your Commanders will be in the Super Bowl. Here we go. Man, I can't wait for Sunday. On to bet of the player of the game, Marshon Lattimore. Real quick, I do think that he will do enough to get into AJ Brown's head. This is a very big piece for me. I think he's healthy this time. I think AJ got him last time, and if he doesn't get him this time, I think Marshon has himself a day. Bet of the week.
No, I said a player of the game, Terry McLaurin.
Oh, I mean, we go to war anytime that guy catches the ball.
You heard what I said, right? What did I say was going to happen in the third quarter?
In the third quarter, well, we're getting it.
Daniels hits McLaurin for a deep shot, putting Washington ahead.
Oh, this would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
It's a bomb.
Oh my!
And
Lord.
McLaurin's going nuts. He's doing this all like he's. Yeah.
You heard he wants us to boo, by the way, when he catches the ball. You saw that?
Bring it.
I love it. I love it. On to bet of the week.
Don't do it. Look, man. We've been on a bit of a winning streak when I come on here and tell you motherfuckers don't bet on shit. But then I admit that I'm going to be betting on shit. So if I'm telling you what I'm going to bet on, I'm just not telling you to do this. Do I have a few dollars? Fuck a few dollars. Do I have a few units on Commanders money line and maybe Jayden 250 combined passing and rushing? Maybe I do. All I know is this. Other people have been showing me the best they've been running, and they've been showing me like, oh man, I'm taking Saquon under. I ain't putting no goddamn Eagles on any of my slips. They are banned from your slips this week. Focus on the other game or the Commanders. Beyond that, keep your money to yourselves until the Super Bowl. We'll find some other shit to bet on. Tell you, Chinese basketball, pretty interesting. And tennis, always happening.
Well, and with that, we go over to the common mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right, thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. We begin with Jamal Bibi Charbon. We shout out. This may not make much sense, but I think the reason the Lions have never amounted to much, even though they had good teams throughout the years, is because of their uniforms and the blue lion on their helmets. I will continue to make fun of their uniforms until they change them. Uniforms have to be intimidating, very much like armies. 3 teams that became winners after changing their funny-looking uniforms are the Bucks, the Patriots, and the Broncos. The Broncos went to the Super Bowl 3 times and lost. They won their first Super Bowl the same year they switched to a more intimidating uniform. Their old ones with the orange tops and light blue helmets made them look like a bunch of exotic insects. That got 2 thumbs up, K-Dot, and I think Jamal maybe have a point there.
There is something to it, but I will admit, I fucking hate when I see that shit. So, like, I remember when the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams won the Super Bowl in the blue and yellow. Kurt Warner, I think, the first year. Maybe I'm wrong, because they switched to gold. They switched to, like, the pure gold look. And I remember hating those fuckers. I hated that team. God damn did I hate that team. I did not like Isaac Bruce. I did not like fucking Marshall Faulk. I didn't like Kurt Warner, at least when they were there. I also didn't like Mike Martz. I fucking hated those assholes. I don't know why. Look, man, the Lions gotta try something. Like, it's been so goddamn long. They gotta try something. I'm not gonna say I heard, what was it? Will Compton, I think I heard say this. He said he was as happy as he was for the Commanders. He was just as sad as he was for the Lions. It's not equal for me. I'm not just as happy. Right. But I will say my heart did go out to the Lions. And I did absolutely tear up hearing Dan Campbell after the game.
You saw how much it meant to the guy, dude. He's fantastic.
But I will tell you, man, I honestly do believe, and I know a lot of people might not agree with me on this because of the way I feel about this one particular person. I do think they have an opportunity right now to upgrade as far as their offense coordinator, and I think they have an opportunity to be a better team than they have been. I was talking to somebody on the phone the other day. Ben Johnson to me is the motherfucker that's too clever for his own good. That team should be completely built around Montgomery and Gibbs running the ball down your fucking throat. Golf throwing the ball should be the primarily a secondary thing. And I think that Ben Johnson gets a little too pass happy. I really do think And to me, it fits Dan Campbell's style to be that smash mouth football team. I really do think if they do that, they'll be right back in the dance.
K-Dot, I'm in 100% agreement with you. And I'm monitoring how Ben Johnson's going to do in Chicago. We'll see. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. Victory Sunday with Honolulu blue sprinkles, baby. Have you ever seen a blue lion? Fuck yeah, I have. I saw a stadium full of them on Saturday night. Yeah, they're loving this. Jayden Daniels is making entire fan bases crash out. The entire city of Chicago was on unalive watch after the Hail Mary. Traffic in Atlanta cleared up for a day because everyone was stuck at home after week 17. Who knows what's going to happen in Detroit today? There is salt in the air over Detroit. A thick fog of lion tears. Thanks for fucking up that interview, Ben Johnson. I knew this game was done as soon as they landed that late hit on Jayden. He flipped his hat backwards and went over the top on their asses. Mikey, the missile, returning to Michigan. Of course he's shooting balls down out of the sky. Y'all may have thought you were the Lion King, but you just ran into a herd of water buffalo. The only way Detroit ever saw or ever will see a Super Bowl is when Eminem performs at halftime. Jamal loved that comment. So yeah.
Look, I feel confident in our team, but I think the thing I always talk about, I love the psychology of sports, and especially love the psychology of fan bases. It's like I said in the week leading up. You could tell Lions fans were lying to themselves. You looked at those cameras during the end of that game, all the fans. You saw this. You didn't see anger. You saw a resignation of this is who we are.
Yeah.
It was an acknowledgement of we all knew that this is how it's probably going to end. Eagles fans are a different side of that coin. It is false bravado, bullshit, and confusion. They are violent idiots. Okay? That's all they are. They yap, but they know in their hearts they're fucking losers. Joe Frazier is from Philadelphia. Bernard Hopkins is from Philadelphia. Who's the statue? Rocky, motherfucker, Rocky. Not only is that racist, you love losers, okay? You're a bunch of racist fucking losers. That's who you are in your heart of hearts. You guys are a problem. You're problematic. And no one wants to see you win this game.
No one. Nation's rooting for us.
You know it.
Oh.
Because you hate yourselves.
Not even them. We go over to Jess Santo. Shout out. One of two comments, by the way, from Jess Santo. We'll conclude with Jess Santo at the very end. Winning time moments. This team is unreal. I can't believe we hung 45 points on Detroit. My phone was blowing up with all the reactions to the win. This team is taking clutch to another level. This season has been better than I could have imagined. Remember when they went on the 3-game skid? It seems like it happened a year ago. It was in November. They are creating something special in Washington. Jayden is having the best rookie season since Dan Marino. Who's got it better than us right now? Share this shit. Kid out your reaction.
What that reminded me is I talk about the fan base of the Lions. I talk about the fan base of the Eagles. And the final point about the Eagles. It was better when y'all hadn't won a Super Bowl. You were so much more comfortable bitching about stuff as losers than you are ever winners. What happened when you guys were won? You burnt down your fucking city. They had to grease poles and shit. You fucking stupid. For Washington fans are the friend that went to therapy and is actually working through their shit. And they got rid of the asshole that was treating them so terribly in their relationship. This is called health. Okay? We're finally reaching a healthy status. And we hope you guys get there too one day. But we understood our demons have been exercised. He's on a yacht in the Mediterranean, drinking himself half to death because he knows that bitch was at fault. All right? We have gotten rid of that toxic person out of our fucking lives.
My take there, first off, brilliant analogy. My take is yacht bitch does not think he's the problem still. Big Papa Grizzly goes, Washington v. Philly round 3. You know he doesn't. You know he doesn't. He's like, if I Jayden, I'd be there too.
They were coming after me. I don't understand. It's the fans. The fans didn't support me like they're supporting these guys.
Honestly, if I put money on it, it's he doesn't think he was the problem. Big Papa Grizzly, Washington v. Philly round 3. Let's fucking go. Our fan base is juiced for this matchup, K-Dot. Round 3. split the season series 1-1. Makes it sound like the NBA. I mean, just an electric time. NFC Championship Game, Super Bowl ticket on the line. Can't wait for it. And we're now going to hear, by the way, from Coach. Here's Coach. Congrats on the dominant win in Detroit. The Tampa win was kind of fluky. The Detroit win absolutely was not. See you guys in Philly next week. Curious to see what the line is. I might just take the points. Get out your reaction.
It was snowing in Philadelphia. You played against LA. It was kind of fluky. Shut the fuck up. I don't get this shit. I appreciate the compliment. And you had to follow up with the dig. What is that? A compliment?
I'm about to compliment you, K-Dot, real quick, because you've been on the Rams for a while. I picked Philly because of the snow, and I think that is literally the reason they won.
It's the only reason they won.
So
I'm so angry.
The Rams look good.
I'm so angry.
I can now tell you that.
Everything I said was going to happen was I'm telling you, the pass rush is going to wake up. I'm so angry. I'm so angry about that. But I will say, the entire time I was watching the game, I was so fucked up internally because I was like, I picked the Rams. I want the Rams to win, but I'm like, I fucking want to play Philadelphia so goddamn bad. I want to play them so bad. You know why I want to play them? Your guys' window is closing. It'll eventually close. We just built the fucking foundation. The window's brand new. We ain't opened some bitch yet, and we already in the NFC Championship Game.
It's the fact. It still is like, how are we in this game? Like this fast?
We know.
It's just
we got Jesus.
Yeah, we do know. Thank God we drafted that kid. We go to the Nathan Perry. Shout out Ref the District as always. Bring on the birds. It's going to be a classic NFC East grudge match. Assuming it's a good game, where will this game end up in the history books of memorable NFC East matchups is the question. Get up.
It catapults right to the top. Because
that's where I'm at.
Don't remember.
Especially if we win.
We've watched the old VHS tapes with, we want Dallas. We don't remember. We weren't alive for that shit. So this is going to be the one. You got to remember, we reached a point where coming up to this season, you talk to the Eagles, they didn't think a rivalry really exists. Same with the Cowboys. They didn't really think a rivalry exists, right? It's mostly a rivalry between the fan bases. But even with that, you can admit it as a Commanders fan. Most of these other fan bases kind of dismissed us. That we were kind of like the little brothers nobody gave a shit. This year has reignited all that shit. I'm telling you, I've been having more issues with Eagles fans and Cowboys fans this year than I ever had. And it's because we're legit again. And this is now the first time in a long time that we're legit and it actually looks like the trajectory is going up. And for them, things are a little rocky. Yeah,
and speaking of, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys now are the owners of the longest NFC Championship Game appearance drought since 1996, I want to say now for them. Either 95 or 96, one of those two for sure. And they're on the verge of hiring Brian Schottenheimer, who is obviously on everybody's list as a good candidate for that position. It's merely promoting the guy who did not call the offense under Mike McCarthy. That's what that
kicking is. Kicking a can down the road.
Yep, exactly. Jerry being Jerry. So go to therapy like we did. Blood Clot. Shout out Blood Clot OG over there. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. This is fucking incredible. We haven't been this good since 1991. Aside from being a Commanders fan, we're the most exciting team to watch in the entire NFL. And the thing is, K-Dot, looking at quarterback numbers, looking at style of play, you can't disagree with him. Jayden Daniels and what's his name? Damian Woody got some flack for saying this, but it's true. Has been the best quarterback in the playoffs so far in terms of play. Like, we're not talking legacy. We're not talking who'd you rather have, though I'm happy to have that conversation. He's been magnificent, and we are the most exciting team to watch in the NFL.
Help, I'm stepping into the Twilight Zone. Places in my house feel like being cloned. My beacon's been moved by moon and stars. Where am I to go now that I've gone this far? When a bullet hits bone.
Goedert, Pally for life.
Great song. Golden Earring, Twilight Zone. I'm playing that bitch as soon as I get off this motherfucker.
Blood Clot, you have changed K-Dot's life. Pally for life goes, believe. All caps, period. 2 thumbs up on it. Keep believing, guys. This team seems to be coming together at the right time. I'm a big fan of First Things First, which is with Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds, and they sometimes have either Greg Jennings or Coach Eric Mangini on. Eric Mangini, for those that don't know, is a defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots.
And a bitch.
And he has likened our team to that Patriots team in terms of the energy he's feeling from it. And that's exciting. So just putting that out there as well. From a guy that's actually done it, from a guy that's been on a team that was doubted, he sees a lot of similarities and goes, hey, these guys remind me of that, and they are very, very dangerous. I think he's going to pick us to win it. So there we are.
What I can't wrap my head around, you listen to a lot of people I don't like. Like there's a thing that like you hate Mina Kimes, which I will never.
I do not hate Mina Kimes.
Beyond Mina, like you love Emmanuel Acho.
I don't love Emmanuel Acho. I'm never
sure
said
you love Marcellus Wiley. Like you're probably a Marcellus Wiley.
I don't listen to Marcellus
and
Wiley.
Like beyond Marcellus Wiley, like I'm sure you love him. Like Eric Mangini, the snitch bitch. Like the best thing that Eric Mangini did. You know what? His guest appearance in The Sopranos. That was awesome. Great job, Eric.
Supposedly he was good. I never saw it. Obviously,
The Sopranos is great. But beyond that, ask Eric how he feels about being a snitch. You a snitch?
Well, I don't know the guy. I'm just telling you what he said on TV.
Just saying, man. You should listen to Mina Kimes, not all these other problematic people.
I do listen to Mina Kimes.
So messed up, man. She does a great job on her show.
She does because
I get like a lot of great people like Benjamin Solak, who's amazing. But like because you
Solak,
hate women,
okay, so Solak, I do think your love for Solak's a bit much.
Here's the thing. I will say that Solak's become more annoying since going to ESPN.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to hear because I have watched some of his stuff, and I'm like, I like this guy. I like, all right, but
I will say I did. So last night when I was struggling around all the vomit and shit to do the all 22, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Mina Kimes and Ben Solak talk about the game. Now, I will promise you, if you listen to Benjamin Solak and Mina Kimes talk about the game, I tried my damnedest not to use anything they used in that. I still don't like listening to people before we do our pod. So trust me, I probably there's some things I probably should have said that I tried not to because they said it. But the entire time Ben was talking, I was like, I want to punch that little nerd in his fucking face the entire time.
It's the same one that was like, we shouldn't take Jayden, just to be clear.
Look, here's what I like. I like the way Ben Solak's mind works. I like that he walks you through his thought process. I've told you ever since he was at the Ringer. I do not always agree with Ben Solak.
I think what happened for me was, and we'll move back to the comment mailbag. This is a very quick, we're not doing it after the pod. Consider this your after the pod. ESPN became so sensationalist in terms of something occurs. And then they're like, we're just going to say the most extreme thing. And we're going to, it feels very performative, fake outrage, stuff like that. And so I was like, all right, let me find something else. And so then I ended up seeing a couple clips on Twitter in passing of First Things First. I love Kevin Wilds. I think he's hysterical. And so I like the blend of funny with the sports fact. You can see the bias. There's bias in everything. You can see that. And so I'm fine with it. It's refreshing to me.
I'm just saying I get what you're saying as far as ESPN. They moved away from like, even when they fired Todd McShay, it was like, all right, this is over. They went away from the journalists to we need talking heads. We need personalities.
Agreed.
I will only say the only network I think that does a worse job at ESPN than that is Fox Sports. I fucking hate Fox.
Fair enough. So for me, it's still new. So
here's what I'm realizing. If you're going to listen to anything as far from a sports standpoint, YouTube.
I agree. By the way,
if you're going to lose ESPN, Mina Kimes. I know you hate her, but still Mina Kimes. And outside of Mina Kimes, it's listening to the Ringer's content. They do some great shit on the Ringer. It's if you want to do breakdowns of all 22, like Brett Coleman or the
Coleman's awesome.
All those guys will teach you certain aspects of the game.
It's good.
They do it so much better than anybody else is doing it. And like here's the thing, it is more entertaining now to turn on Fox Sports or ESPN from strictly an entertainment gossip standpoint about what's happening behind the scenes at their own respective networks.
Oh, yeah. That's also been dynamite.
So like beyond like Cam Newton, god damn son, that was fucking awesome. Bro.
That was awesome. And we may not see him for a while. I hope we do though, because that was dope. That was hilarious.
So and also I forget the name of the show. God damn it. I've talked about it on the podcast, but it's a bunch of former athletes, including one of the special teams coaches from like Carolina.
Oh, right. Show. It's the one where they were talking about Bryce Young and you.
Yes. Yeah, they did an episode about Jayden and the Lions and stuff. It's great. Like they did a whole segment.
I'll definitely watch that.
Those are the things I did. all this ESPN, they've turned into like CNN and shit, which is like you got to kind of cherry pick what personality you can actually listen to. Just listen to Mina Kimes, not Marcellus Wiley and Emmanuel Acha like you.
Don't listen to Marcellus Wiley. We go over to Tony. Shout out Tony. Oh, gee. Is it me or does Joe Witt let the opponent run on us in the first half on purpose so they don't change anything in the second half? It's a bit of a galaxy brain thought there. I know game flow and opponent's offensive coordinator is a factor, but it seems to me Joe Witt knows what exact changes to make to bottle up the run in the second half. So not making the adjustments until the second half. And on the tush push, the wedge is led by the left guard, not the center. That needs to be understood, and I hope Joe Witt sees that Brett Coleman video, talk about Brett Coleman, to crack the code on the tush push, which is a good video. K-Dot, your reaction.
I'm not going to say he does it on purpose, but I am going to say that there used to be more of an old school mentality when it came to defensive coordinators as far as making adjustments over the course of a game. It's that chess match. It's let me see what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, how you want to get to certain things, and I'll make my adjustments the way I need to on my end. I think there's a little bit of that. I think some of it has to do with the talent discrepancy, which is that he's got to get them in the most aligned and most primary matchups to take advantage of the fact that we might not be the most talented. So there is a little bit of, I got to kind of see what you guys are going to do before I can make my adjustments. But that's where I give our coaching staff. I will tell you I do think it's been overrated in the NFL when people talk about adjustments in halftime. And it doesn't really happen all that much. But what you can see is over the course of a game, the way that certain coordinators might start changing things slowly or going away from things. And I will say Washington, more than maybe any other team, I've loved that you can absolutely see the adjustments being made in real time.
Go over to D-Smoke. Shout out. D-Smoke, we smoke in Philly Pack Sunday. Share this shit.
Smoking that Philly Pack! Light up if you get. All right, is this bad luck to do it before the game?
Yeah, I was going to say, just be careful on that. I was thinking about also saying, I was like, wait, I'll just be careful on that one.
My bong's over there. I grab my bong right now. It's out of reach.
Go over to Canada's Wavy. And still, we keep defying the odds. DQ has to have this team playing more aggressive than ever now. None of that happy to be here shit. Against the Bucks, I wanted our game changer to be Terry. He showed out. Against the Lions, I wanted our game changer to be Mikey. 2 big-time INTs for him, though the predicted Sandersville pick 6 went to Quan. Against the Eagles, it is time we see something special from them Bama boys in the interior. John Allen and Deron Payne have seen the worst of this franchise and stuck around for years. In the biggest game of their careers so far, in a game where we must at least make it difficult for Hurts to ride Saquon's coattails. Seriously, it's crazy how ass he's been at times this year. Barkley just takes over. Our D-line must wreak havoc. Fowler scoop and score incoming. Lattimore gets his revenge on AJ. Beat Philly at their own game in time of possession. Walk them down. Got me fired up. K-Dot, your reaction.
I like the idea of them Bama boys. The Bama boys beating up on Hurts, who is a traitor. He left Bama for Oklahoma. Kick his ass. Do it for Bama. Boys, do it for Bama.
Do it for Bama. I mean, look, on one side, you got the Georgia boys and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. They're doing their thing. If the Bama boys could step up, be like, hey, we're here too. This could be a hell of a game. We go over to Cody Rind. Like pork rind. Still remember that. Really glad he did that. I'm at a loss for words for how to describe Jayden Daniels and just how magical this season has been. Win or lose this week, I have felt that I have been dreaming and haven't woke up yet. It's like my mind doesn't know how to process what I'm witnessing, and this is just only the beginning. Man, that Snyder PTSD is real. How poetic would this be if the Commanders pull this off on Sunday, and if they pull off a Super Bowl upset over the Chiefs? For Jayden to take over the NFL throne by putting an end to the three-peat dream? Man, what a ride. Hail to the motherfucking Commanders. Left hand all the way turned up. Random thought. I wish the Commanders would switch to yellow face masks. I missed that look. Get out your reaction.
I will say, during the playoffs, we've only worn the one jersey because we've been an away team the entire way through. So, this is what's so crazy about like team names and uniforms and everything. I can tell you without question, by far, not even close, I fucking hate our white uniforms, our white jerseys going into this season. I have become to love them now. I fucking love them because they are now true.
With the black jerseys when we had the Hail Mary, yep.
Yeah, I love them all now, right? So like it's all good with me. But look, I thought about this too the other day, and I'm glad this person mentioned a little bit, or Mr. Ryan. I think if we're looking at the world and karmically, right? Like things are pretty rough. We know who's in the White House. Not a fan of his, and all these fucking executive orders and shit is kind of fucking rough, right? Yep. But as far as if there's a God, if there's karma, there's things like that. Like I'm not saying the Bills don't deserve shit as long as they've seen the heartache that they've had. The Chiefs, I do think that being the best and working as hard as you can get there. Philadelphia, but see the thing is that like we all know if Philadelphia wins, their city burns. It's not a good thing. Karmically, it's just not good. It's not good for the world or the universe, right?
That's for the economy, though. They build it back up.
Not necessarily build back better, though.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Worse for the economy. You're right.
Yeah. So now for Washington, the idea that you could have a sexually molesting piece of shit owner who did all the wrong things, suing grandmothers, all this kind of shit. What does that mean for the world to know that the moment that he left, we had instantaneous success? That to me should be a thing to let everybody know. Your temper motherfucker out there in Carolina or anything, it should make everybody know that evil will not get you to where you need to be. You should be good. To exercise those demons from you. I think that karmically, we should witness. God should be on our side. The world should be on our side. These positive energies should be on our side because it's to root for us, to root for a Super Bowl championship for us. It's not selfish. It's the right thing for the world.
Vote for K-Dot. And he's 100% right. I mean, like, if you needed proof karma's real, God's real, etc., look at this season. I mean, like, literally the first year ownership actually implements stuff outside of the wait and see in year one. Mm-hmm. This is where we are. Like, this is genuinely, and you listen to anybody, ESPN, Fox, YouTube, your neighbor, it doesn't matter. This is unbelievable.
No doubt.
It's all anybody can say. Nobody can be like, oh, you're right. Like, you know, it's because of this. I said Jayden Daniels unbelievable in December, and K-Dot was with me until he veered to JJ McCarthy for some strange reason, and now he's seen it once again.
I like storylines.
You do. But even we couldn't see this, right? Like, this is truly unbelievable. It's very real. There are higher things at play when it comes to this stuff. It is just real. It's been what a ride. And we conclude with Jess Santo. Take a swig, Amit. You'll need it. That's what I did just after the Cody round.
I wish I could take a swig.
I'm double commenting on this one. My birthday was last Saturday. Happy belated birthday, Jess.
Happy belated birthday.
What a day to have it, huh? I watched the game with my best friend at his buddy's house. I've been going through a divorce and have been moving during this playoff run. Damn. Hope you're doing well, Jess. Of course, there's a lot of loneliness, regret, and sadness going through my mind constantly. You guys said this season has been like a religious experience. It truly has been. I'm a man of faith, but I'm pretty rough around the edges. I'm in my new house now, and being that I'm older and was married, I was worried about being alone. Me and my friends do not keep in touch like we used to as life goes on. To my surprise, my friends have been coming out of the woodwork. Guys I haven't talked to in years. This team that has caused me so much misery over the last 2 decades is now causing people to hit me up out of nowhere. Awesome win. I'm happy for you. How's it going, man? We need to hang out. I was planning on never seeing Snyder leave, never finding a franchise quarterback, and never watching this team in a Super Bowl. I was going to settle for watching small victories here and there for the rest of my life. I'm getting fucking emotional. A lot can change in 1 year's time. This playoff run has felt like God telling me things can change for the better. Keep your head up and keep grinding. If the Commanders can turn it around from the state they were in, why can't I? It's a time for optimism for future possibilities and not dwell on the past. It's truly been a joy listening to content about the team throughout this dark period. You guys do a great job of entertaining. We're coming for you, Lombard. Buckle up, Buttercup. The slender assassin is coming. Share this shit. First off, Jess, we love you, buddy. And thinking of you. And like you said, why can't I? Fully believe in you. Thanks for spending time with us. That was the most powerful comment I think we have ever received, K-Dot.
I've been through a lot in my life. A lot of shit. I can still tell you the hardest thing I've ever personally ever gone through in my entire life was my divorce. So I feel for you, Jess. I will also say I feel a little bit jealous because when I went through my divorce, I had the Kirk Cousins, Jay Gruden Redskins. I didn't have these Commanders to have my friends come out of the woodwork. So I appreciate your friends coming in. I sat in my driveway and stuck something in my mouth. You have the Commanders. I'm glad you have something to have your back. I did not, you son of a bitch. I love you, Jess. I'm glad this team, I'm glad your friends are able to rally around you. This is dope. It keeps reminding me is like this team and everything that we've gone through for as long as we have. And a lot of people who I still say they were right by leaving us. They were right by leaving this fan base. They were right by leaving a lot of stuff. You are healthier than we are. You are. But to see them coming back into the fold, to hear the excitement around your friend groups and the text threads and all these kind of stuff, that's just feeling good. This is so much bigger than anything that's happened on that fucking football field. This is huge for us. I'm so fucking ecstatic to be alive to see this shit happening right now. Because Lord knows I'm right there with you. I did not think that was going to be the case. I thought I was going to be one of those motherfuckers in the obituary talking about how I wish the Commanders could have done something for me during my life. And we're here now. It's hard to believe, but we are here. We're fucking here.
Yeah, we are here. Jess, enjoy the ride. Everyone enjoy the ride. This is for us. We've been waiting a really, really long time for this. And I mean, what a season. And may it continue.
Yeah,
this was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports Podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, as you always do. And I'm Amit, that's K-Dot. And if you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment, as you always do, and K-Dot.
Share this shit. I'm serious, man. The shit I went through last night to get this shit.
You have no idea.
Share
guys.
this fucking shit.
Please share it. Share it. Share it. Just share it. Share this shit. And we will see you on the other side of this game. Hopefully, Super Bowl bound with some shades on. So until then, enjoy the game. And we'll see you on the other side. Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.